morning, kids. I'm Miss Bev, and I'm the Children's Ministry Director at Bellevue Christian Church. And we are a church where
ordinary kids are learning to live everyday life like Jesus.
So, kids, before we begin our lesson, go ahead, stand up and sing, because we're going to sing
Super Wonderful God.
My God is strong. He'll do anything big or small. Nothing is impossible for a super wonderful God. Every day I can know God is always there for me and my family. Every day I can know greater is the one who lives inside me. Super big, super strong, super wonderful God. Super big, super strong, super wonderful God. Our God is strong. He'll do anything big or small. Nothing is impossible for a super wonderful God. Every day I can know God is always there for me and my family. Yeah, every day I can know greater is the one who lives inside me. Super big, super strong, super wonderful God. Super big, super strong, super wonderful
Okay, so welcome back, kids. I hope you enjoyed that song. Hope picked that song because she loves that song. Hope, you want to say hi to the kids this week?
Hi, everyone.
Welcome back to Hope. She's here helping me again this week. Miss Bev loves having Hope come and do the lesson with me. So before we begin, kids, we're going to go over a very quick review. We have a lot to do today. So our review is going to be a little quick. So kids, a couple weeks ago, we began a lesson series called The Year-Long Bible Journey. Have you liked these lessons, Hope?
Yeah.
We've been going through all the books of the Bible. And how many books are there, Hope?
66.
66 books in the Bible. And we're going to go through all of those this year. That's exciting, isn't it, Hope?
Yeah.
It is. There's a lot of wonderful stories in the Bible. And we've taught about a few of those already. We have gone through the books of Genesis all the way to 2 Samuel, kids. And today we're in 1 and 2 Kings. Hope, can you tell the kids what some of the lessons are that we've talked about?
We talked about God's covenant with Abraham, the 10 Commandments, Israelites crossing the Red Sea, Gideon and Ruth,
Remember Ruth, she was faithful because she stayed with Naomi. You're right. They've been really good stories, huh? Yeah, we've had a good time learning all the stories in the Old Testament. And we've also had 2 memory verses. And Hope is going to read them with you right now. And I hope that you have been learning these at home and you can read them with Hope today.
Never stop reading this book of the law. Day and night you must think about what it says. Make sure you do everything written in it. Then things will go well with you and you will have great success. Joshua 1:8.
Okay, good job. Our second memory verse has been,
where you go, I'll go. Where you stay, I'll stay. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Ruth 1:16.
Okay, good job, Hope. Kids, I hope that you are going over those memory verses at home with your parents and you are keeping those memory verses in your heart so that you know God's word. Okay, well, kids, we have a little bit of a science experiment to show you today. Now, I will tell you that Miss Bev kind of messed it up a little bit, but that's okay. It's okay to say when we make mistakes, and Miss Bev made a mistake. So let's just show you what it is, and then I'll explain to you how I kind of made a mistake. So to do this experiment, and maybe some of you have done this at home, to do this experiment at home, you need to get 3 glasses and you need to fill all 3 glasses with clear water, okay? Then you need to get 3 stalks of celery like this. Cut off the ends and put them in the water. Now, in 1 glass of water, you're going to want to put red food coloring. Kids, you may need your parents to help you do this. So put some red food coloring in the first one. In the second one, you're going to want to put a couple darker colors, maybe a blue and a green, maybe put some yellow. You want to get it as dark as you can. And then in the third glass of water, kids, don't put any food coloring. So when I read the directions to do this, I did not read all the way to the end. Here, you're supposed to put the celery in the food colored water and leave it all night. Leave it overnight. Miss Bev did not do that. I just did it a few hours ago. So it did not work the way it's supposed to. So I'm hoping if I leave it in overnight, what is supposed to happen? Hope, what color do you think this stalk of celery is going to get since it's in the red food coloring?
Red.
Correct. What color do you think this one's going to get?
Black.
Right. And what is this going to get?
Nothing.
Nothing. That's what is supposed to happen. And I hope that Miss Bev, after I leave it tonight the way I was supposed to do it, that's what will happen. So I apologize that I kind of made a little bit of a mistake by not doing that last night so that we would have the final product today. But I would like for you kids to go ahead and try this at home, see if it works for you, and if it does, go ahead and send me a picture. Hope and I would love to see if it works for you. So I'm going to leave my celery in the water overnight and see if when I wake up tomorrow, if that has really happened. Because over time, kids, what happens is the celery, it drinks up some of the water, and that's what changes the color in the celery. Okay, so just like the water changed the color of the celery, hopefully tomorrow, do you know, Hope, that we can change people that we are around? Did you know that we can change the people that we're around? The way that we treat people and we behave around others, that influences them. Do you know that you can be an influence on other people? Did you know that, Hope? It can be positive or it can be negative. And in our Bible story today, kids, we're going to learn about some of the kings in the Bible. Their actions as leaders had influence on the people. And do you know, Hope, that some of them were good, but some of them were bad. And some of them were just kind of okay. And we're going to learn all about that today. Depending on their obedience to God is what influenced how they were the kings. And this caused the people to have different levels of obedience as well. So we're going to talk all about these kings today. But go ahead, kids, try this science experiment at home. I hope that it works for you. We're going to put this aside now so we don't spill this. If it works, go ahead, take a picture, send it to me and Hope so that we can see the change in color of the celery. Okay, well, we hope you enjoy doing that. And today then, kids, we're going to go ahead and learn about 3 kings that were in the Bible. Not to be confused, these are not the 3 kings, though, that visited Jesus when he was born. These are some kings that were in the Old Testament. And today, kids, through this story, we're going to learn that we can have a positive influence on people when we follow God. You want to follow God, Hope? Isn't that who we want to follow? God. Yes. So before we do that, we have some pictures to show you because we're going to play a little game here, okay? A little game. So Miss Bev has some pictures of different foods that I'm going to hold up. Hope is going to help us. She's going to tell us what the food is. And Hope, if they like the food, what are they going to do?
Thumbs up.
If they don't like the food?
Thumbs down.
And if the food is just kind of okay, what are they going to do?
Middle.
Okay, just kind of in the middle. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. You play at home with us, okay? Thumbs up, thumbs down, or just kind of okay. What is this, Hope?
Pizza.
Pizza. Is this a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. We love us some pizza. Okay, what is this, Hope?
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese? Is that a thumbs up? Yeah, everybody loves mac and cheese. Okay. Uh-oh. What are these, Hope?
Lima beans.
Lima beans. Oh, thumbs down. Anybody like lima beans? Oh, me neither. Okay, what about this picture, Hope? What are these?
French fries.
French fries. Is that a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or just kind of, Okay, good job. What about this one?
Fruits.
Fruit. What about this? Fruit.
Okay.
Just okay?
Yeah.
How's come it's just okay? Hope.
Some are good, some are not.
Yeah, just kind of okay. Okay, what about you at home with fruit? Good. Okay. What is this?
Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts. Hope. She put her thumbs down. Miss Bev gives it a thumbs up. I love Brussels sprouts. How about you at home? What do you think? Okay. And last but not least, what is this?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Does everybody give the ice cream a thumbs up? Yes.
Yes.
Who loves ice cream? Yeah, me too. Well, you see, kids, with all of that food, that some have very strong opinions. We love them, huh? And some that we didn't like too much, huh? And some were just kind of a little okay. But today, kids, we are going to all agree and give a big thumbs up that the Bible is God's word and it is good, huh? It is good. So we give the Bible thumbs up. And today we're going to study a really cool story in the Bible. We are going to be in the book of 2 Kings. The 2 Kings is still in the Old Testament. And Hope is going to read for us. Now, Hope has a lot to read again this week. And Hope has lots of difficult words this week. So she has been practicing and she is going to do a wonderful job. Now, the story may be a little confusing, kids, but that's okay. We're going to explain it when we're done. So Hope is going to be reading 2 Kings chapter 15, 1 through 7, then chapter 16, 2 through 4, and verse 8. And then she's going to be reading 2 Kings 19, and then, chapter 16, verse 19, and then chapter 18, 1 through 8. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, but it's really not. And Hope does a wonderful job. So sit back, enjoy the story of these three kings, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about the influence they had with the people. Okay, go ahead, Hope.
Uzziah becomes king of Judah. Uzziah begins to rule as king over Judah. It was the 27th year that Jeroboam was king of Israel. Uzziah was the son of Amaziah. Uzziah was 16 years old when he became king. He ruled in Jerusalem for 52 years. His mother's name was Jechiel. She was from Jerusalem. Uzziah did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, just as his father Amaziah had done. But the high places weren't removed. The people continued to offer sacrifices and burn incense there. The Lord caused King Uzziah to suffer from a skin disease until the day he died. He lived in a separate house. His son Jotham was in charge of the palace. Jotham ruled over the people of the land. The other events of the rule of Uzziah are written down. Everything he did is written down. All of those things that are written in the official records of the king of Judah. Uzziah joined the members of his family who had already died. His body was buried near them in the city of David. His son Jotham became the next king after him. Ahaz was 20 years old when he became king. He ruled in Jerusalem for 16 years. Ahaz didn't do what was right in the eyes of the Lord his God. He didn't do what King David had done. He followed the ways of the king of Israel. He even sacrificed his son in the fire to another god. He followed the practices of the nation. The Lord hated those practices. He had driven out those nations to make room for the people of Israel. Ahaz offered sacrifices and burned incense at the high places. He also did it on the top of the hills and under every green tree. Ahaz took the silver and gold that were in the Lord's temple. He also took the silver and gold that were among the treasures in the royal palace. He sent all of it as a gift to the king of Assyria. Hezekiah began to rule as king over Judah. It was in the 3rd year that Hoshea was king of Israel. He was the son of Eli. Hezekiah was the son of Ahaz. Hezekiah was 25 years old when he became king. He ruled in Jerusalem for 29 years. His mother's name was Abihai. She was the daughter of Zechariah. Hezekiah did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, just as King David had done. Hezekiah removed the high places. He smashed the sacred stones. He cut down the poles that were used to worship the goddess Asherah. He broke into pieces the bronze snake Moses had made. Up to that time, the people of Israel had been burning incense to it. They called it Nashhamel. Hezekiah trusted in the Lord, the God of Israel. There is no one like among all of the kings of Judah. There is no king like him, either before him or after him. Hezekiah remained true to the Lord. He didn't stop following him. He obeyed the commands the Lord had given Moses. The Lord was with Hezekiah. He was successful in everything he did. He refused to remain under the control of the king of Assyria. He didn't serve him. He won the war against the Philistines. He won battles at their lookout towers. He won battles at their cities that had high walls around them. He won battles against the Philistines all the way to Gaza and its territory.
Very good. That was a lot of reading. Didn't Hope do a great job with all of those names, kids? Let's at home, everybody give Hope a great big round of applause. Great job, Hope. That was a lot, wasn't it, Hope? Yes, she did a great job. So, kids, while I explained to you all about those kings, our craft for today is going to be to decorate a crown. So you could do one of two things. You can either draw a crown on a piece of paper. I actually printed this one for Hope. You can make a crown out of construction paper and go ahead and start decorating your crown. Hope's going to start working on hers, and then we'll tell you at the end what she's going to do with that, okay? So kids, I know that was really confusing listening to all those stories about all of those kings. So Ms. Bev's going to try to make it a little bit easier for you with the sheets that I've prepared to show you. You see, kids, in the Bible, in God's big story that we're talking about right now, the nation of Israel had split into two parts. One was called Israel, and the other was called Judah. Can you all say Judah?
Judah.
Judah, exactly. So we have Israel and Judah. And each of the two nations had kings that were leading them for over 200 years. That's a long time. Yeah, 200 years, Hope. And some of the kings, they reigned for many, many years. And some of them only reigned for a few years. So we're going to talk about a few of those kings today. And regardless of whether they had reigned for a long time or a short time, all of these kings left a legacy. And a legacy is almost like their reputation. You know what a reputation is? It's the way that we live and the way that we act and what people know about us. That's like a legacy. So, Hope, we're going to go ahead and we're going to show the kids some stuff about these kings that you read about. Like I said, kids, I know it was kind of confusing when we read some of the stories in the Old Testament. All the names get confusing. But the very first king that Hope talked about was King Uzziah. And it says in the Bible that Uzziah became the king at the age of 16. Some of you may have brothers and sisters that are 16 or almost 16. Can you believe that, Hope, becoming a king at the age of 16? That's pretty young. He ruled for 52 years. And Hope, would you like to read what the Bible says about Uzziah right there?
Uzziah did right in the eyes of the Lord.
Wow, Uzziah did right in the eyes of the Lord. He made good choices and he followed God. He neglected, though, to remove the high places. Now, let me explain to you a little bit, kids, about what the high places are. It was a worship center. And remember how the Israelites, they had a hard time sticking with God. They tended to forget his promises and often resorted on going back to worshiping those fake gods that we had talked about. And the high places were where they went to do that. That's where they went to make the sacrifices to the fake gods. And they would burn incense there and worship those fake gods. And sometimes they just kept falling back into those wrong practices that they were doing. They were tempted by that. So by Uzziah not removing those high places, it made it easier for the people to fall back into those bad habits. So Uzziah made good choices and he followed God, but he neglected to remove the high places. It also says that Uzziah suffered from a skin disease and had to live in a different house than his family. And what does it say at the very end there, Hope? That he went
down in history as a okay king.
Just an okay king. So there you can see all about Uzziah, all about him, all the high points about him. And he was just an okay king. Okay? Now the second king we talked about was Ahaz. King Ahaz became the king at the age of what? 20 years old. So he was a little bit older than Uzziah. He was a king for 16 years. Ahaz did not do what was right in the eyes of the Lord. He made sacrifices at the high places. He made sacrifices to fake gods. Hope, can you tell the kids what he took away from God's temple?
Took silver and gold.
Yes, he took silver and gold and other things away from God's temple. He influenced people in all the wrong ways. What was he, Hope?
He was a bad king.
He was a bad king. Yes, Ahaz was a bad king. Okay, but now the last king that Hope read about. This was King Hezekiah. And how old was he when he became the king?
He was 25.
Hezekiah became king at the age of 25. He was king for how many years?
29.
29 years. And what does the Bible say about him, Hope?
He did what was right in the eye of the Lord.
He did. He took down the high places. He destroyed everything that tempted the people to worship other gods. He trusted God, and the Bible says there was no one like him among all the kings. You want to read this one, Hope?
Hezekiah remained faithful to God his entire life.
Yes, and he was successful in everything he did. He won many battles with God on his side. His influence led the people closer to God. He was a
good king.
He was a good king. So let's look at all three of these kings. Hope is going to help me. We're going to hold these up. We want you to see these. These are all three of the kings that we talked about today. And you see, kids, some were good, some were bad, some were just okay. But all of these kings influenced the people. And over the years, the people had good leaders, they had bad leaders, just okay leaders. And this was determined about how they choose to follow God. No matter how they behave, whether it's positive or negative, they influence the people. So, Hope, we aren't kings and we're not queens, but do you know that we can influence people too? Did you know that we influence people? Mm-hmm. We influence people by what we do. We can have a positive or a negative influence on people. Hope, who do we have in our life that we could influence?
We have our friends and family and other people that we come in contact, like our neighbors, classmates, and people maybe at the grocery store.
We do, and when we follow God and make right decisions, our influence can be a positive influence, like King Hezekiah. The opposite is true as well, though, Hope. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. As much as we can be a positive influence, we can also be a negative influence. Think about this, kids at home. Take a moment and just think about how you're making an impact on the people around you. Let's think about that for 1 minute. Think about your friends and your family. Think about your neighbors, and how are you being an influence to them? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it just okay? Are you being a positive influence or a negative influence? Yeah, just think about that for a minute, kids. Are the things you're saying and the way that you are acting making a positive or a negative influence? Hope, can you think of maybe a positive influence that we could do?
We could help somebody if they need help.
We could help somebody. That would be a really good positive influence in somebody. We could tell somebody about Jesus. Mm-hmm. I hope that would be a good influence. Yeah. Our craft today that Hope has been working on is just that. Hope took her crown. And what did you write on that, Hope?
I wrote, I will help my friends and I will make dinner for my family.
Well, isn't that nice? What Hope was supposed to do, let's look at this craft sheet here. After you make your crown, it says that they want you to write on the crown, I will, and then write something on there that you will do to be a positive influence. And that is what Hope is going to do. So Miss Bev and Hope would like for you to write on your crown something that you're going to do to be a positive influence. And Hope's going to help her friends, and she's going to make dinner for her family. That's a very positive influence. Yes, some of the other things that you may write on your crown is maybe there's a new kid in your class, and you're going to go ahead and talk to that person to make them feel welcomed. Be a good friend. Maybe you could do your chores this week without complaining to your mom or your dad, or even without being asked. That would be a good influence, wouldn't it, Hope?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or maybe you could make your brother or sister's bed just to be nice to them. That would be nice, wouldn't it? It would be. So kids, we want you to go ahead and make a crown at home, and do that with your parents and grandparents, your brothers and sisters. And kids, let's all be a good influence this week. Let's be like King Hezekiah. There was no one like him, the Bible said. He was successful in everything. It says that he remained faithful to God his entire life. Wouldn't you love for someone to say that about you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is really nice. And it says that there was no one like him among all the kings. So kids, me and Hope would love for you to take time this week to talk about being a good influence to those around you. Parents and grandparents, as always, we have these Make It Stick papers that we send home. And parents, I would really encourage you this week to take some time and really talk about how your kids can be a good influence to those around you. And parents, you are an influence to your kids, parents and grandparents. You influence your kids. So let's take some time this week and let's talk about that. So as always, kids, Hope and I have loved being with you and sharing with you these lessons of these kings. And we hope that this week you will choose to be a good influence, to serve God. Yes, that we'll get a thumbs up, that we will be a good influence. So Hope and I hope that you have a wonderful week, and continue to serve Jesus, study your memory verses, look over your lessons. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week. Let's say goodbye, Hope.
Bye.
Bye.